So my friend, Mr. Global, made a video about how the United States oil refining capacity has dropped by about 1 million barrels, and we're not going to get that capacity back, likely in a long time or maybe never. And I made a comment suggesting that that refining capacity won't be needed soon because EVs are being adopted in mass.
So what John here is saying is that with the increase or rise in sales of EVs, that fuel demand will drop down to our refining capacity, and it'll be just like getting the 1 million barrels a day back that we lost during COVID. And he says soon. I don't know what he means by soon, but it doesn't mean the same thing as my soon. It doesn't mean the same thing as my soon. No. Well, I mean, it could mean the same thing as my soon. I think what I mean to say is it doesn't mean the same thing as most people on TikTok's soon. Because in the world of the energy transition, 10 years is soon. It really is. Now, 10 years is not soon to the average American who wants everything right now. So there are some things we need to consider when talking about the idea of EVs eating away at our gasoline demand. And full disclosure, nobody on the planet has been able to accurately predict what gasoline demand is going to do based on the sale of EVs. It is one of those things that is almost impossible to forecast. And when I look at the forecast, I see all of the things that they're missing. Like when the EIA forecasts this stuff, they forecast it 4 or 5 times a year because they can't get it right. So let's start at the beginning. First of all, putting a new EV on the road does not take an internal combustion engine off the road. No, it does not. Putting 1 million EVs on the road does not take those internal combustion engines off the road. No. But what it may do is reduce some of the fuel usage of some of those internal combustion engine cars. To be clear, our fleet of vehicles in the United States is growing every year. So like over the last 20 years, we've added 40 million cars to the United States. And 38 million of them were internal combustion engine cars. Yeah. Another problem is the most popular vehicles in the United States that are being sold by far are SUVs and pickups, which gets the worst fuel mileage. So I guess the question is, what do we need to do to get 1 million barrels a day of gasoline off the market to reduce the demand so our refining capacity meets demand? We need to remove 30 million cars from the United States that are internal combustion engine cars. We need to remove them completely, as in crush them. Yeah. That's going to take a long time. Short of a government program where the government purchases like vehicles that were traded into car lots, where the government purchases them and destroys them, short of that happening, that's going to take a long time to remove 30 million cars from the United States. We could have 30 million more EVs. That's not going to remove 30 million gas-powered cars. One of the reasons a lot of these experts can't forecast how demand in the United States is going to drop, because it is going to eventually drop. One of the things I think they're missing is Generation Z. The Zoomers, the largest generation ever. And most of them are about to start driving. A lot of them already drive, but there's a lot more of them that haven't started driving yet. The ones that are driving can't afford EVs, and the ones that haven't started driving yet certainly can't afford EVs. And there's 84 million of these people? 84 million of these people? Most of which are going to need cars, the vast majority of which will not be driving EVs. But will their parents buy an EV and give them their gas-powered car? Maybe. Now, the Zoomers want EVs. Yeah, they want EVs more than any other generation. And that's a good sign for the EV market, since, they're going to be the future of car buying. Now, I believe the EIA predicts it's a 10 to 12 year window that the United States loses 1 million barrels a day in gasoline demand. And that is possible. That is certainly possible. But the first 2 years of their forecast have been way off. So I don't know if that throws the rest off, but they got a lot of catching up to do. Yeah, for sure. Because the sale of gas-powered vehicles, it's still way over 90% of all vehicles sold in the United States. So I think it's safe to say, John, if by soon you mean 10 or 15 years, then you're right. But a lot of people think it'll be 2 or 3 years, and it's not. It's not going to be 2 or 3 years. It's not going to be 5 years. It's just not going to happen. Thanks.